everybody. Welcome to the live stream. Look who we've got. We've got Livingston Man and Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival. Welcome.
What's happening, guys? How are you?
Hello. So, in case you didn't see, these guys just had a live stream right before this. So, after, if you want to go and check it out and watch the replay, that would be good. There's some good information in there. And also, right after this, MY Prepper has a live stream as well. So, there's lots of fun
Awesome.
things going on tonight.
Jam-packed
Um,
evening.
it is. How are you guys doing?
Wonderful. Wonderful. Running like crazy. I imagine you too, Livingston, man. It seems like the fall season is super busy season around here.
Yeah. Looks like there's quite a few people in chat. We've got Brett is here, Prepper 101. Good to see you. Nene's Prepping Kitchen. Thanks for stopping by. Vision Preparedness is here. Hello.
What's happening,
Great
Vision?
channel to check out. Nate is here. Hello, Blue Vandal. Prepping by Faith is here, and so is
What's
Uncle
happening, sister?
Al. Hello. My mother's Spark, we see there. And MM Marco, as well as Old Mutt and Arc Wildman Survival, Texas Surplus Pro, one of my favorite channels. Check out
Dude.
TSP. Mary is here, and others. So, yeah, thanks a lot. And thanks to the mods for taking the time as well. If you're catching
Thank
this
you,
on the
guys.
replay, thank you for your time. So, without further ado, can you tell us a bit about your channels, please?
Well, we started as kind of a prepping channel, and we have evolved into
Well, you started as
live
one of those guys
streamers.
in your closet with like a flag behind you.
Yeah, it's very true. It's very true. And the Livingston
It
Man
evolved quickly.
Yeah, the Livingston Man, once he got a hold of the computer and started showing me how to do things, it was a whole nother story. And we've evolved a bit over the years, and we have fun. We try to teach, but there's a lot of entertainment factor in it as well. We like to hoot and holler and say what's on our mind, and thankfully they haven't banned us yet. So, but we're prepping and survival geared, I guess you would say. I'm kind of a gear junkie. I love the survival gear. I love preparedness. I love, cycling things in and out. And the Livingston Man loves testing stuff with me. So it's a fantastic combination. And we're really looking forward to getting back to, smashing up some things in the woods. Yeah.
Totally. And what is We All Gonna Die Wednesdays?
Um,
Statistically, it's the day that it'll happen.
yeah.
You figure it's going to be a Wednesday. You think it'd be a Monday, it's not going to be. It's going to be a Wednesday. So we just do like a preemptive prophecy there. Like you're going to be right eventually. So we lean on that.
Yeah.
We're all going to die Wednesday. We get to air our grievance. Why we mad? What we think like is going to get us today, and it gets us through.
And a little bit of hating on the folks who push the fear porn all the time.
Yeah.
You see the headlines on YouTube all the time. This is it. This is it. Tomorrow's the day. And it's a bit of a spoof on those guys too. Kind of just a little fun jab at them with the title, but it's fun. We try to have fun.
Maybe you've noticed the prepping and survival community at large can be pretty serious.
Yeah.
We tried to bring a little bit of just, even you want to call it black or gallows humor to it. Just get a laugh, man. It gets you through.
Absolutely.
Oh, you guys are hilarious. And I see Winter Homestead's here. I'm sure everybody knows this, but Angry Homesteader has renamed her channel to Winter Homestead. So she's definitely
fantastic
here, and thanks for being
happening,
here.
sister.
So, can you tell me a bit about the shorts that you've made lately? There's some cool stuff with testing the Jackery.
Jackery, yeah, man. I love that piece of equipment. I have brought it to events. I have kept myself warm with it. I have charged devices with it. And now I want to start putting it through some heavier testing. I want to see what this thing's really capable of, We're going to try and run a pellet stove off of it soon and see how that goes. But the shorts, I want to keep, kind of related to that as much as possible. And anything that, pops up in the news that I'd really think folks should know about, I'm going to hit them with a short real quick and let them know.
And you've been covering the recent news in the US, right? You've been having these live streams and watching the poll results and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was yesterday's live stream was
Disappointed, but not surprised.
yeah, disappointed but not surprised. You know, they always project some big thing to happen, and when it falls short, you're kind of, oh man, you know, I was really hoping, but um, yeah, it's we try to follow as much as we can. You know, we really do, and sometimes some things aren't really prepping related, and some are more pertaining to your everyday life.
Mhm.
So that's what the whole election thing was about. And I know a lot of people had a lot of skin in the game, and it was nice to see some folks win, and other folks, you know, here in New Yorkistan, it's a whole different set of rules.
Politics
So,
is presented to us are like a sports game, or
Yeah, it really
it's
is.
it's a never-ending Super Bowl where like your team is winning or losing, and it dominates everything. Like these folks are treated like rock stars and uh, super celebrity Kardashian types, where it's like they just like yeah.
Yeah, it drives me wild. It drives me wild.
It's so
by the
blown out of
way,
proportion.
Prepping by Faith is saying that your audio is kind of coming in and out a little bit.
Oh,
Just
oh.
your side, but
Let's
not so
see if
much
we
my
can
side.
get this guy down a little
It's
further here.
probably
Yeah,
me.
that's Sun
Oh,
Owl
that's
saying
right in
that as
front of
well.
your head. We're gonna move that over here.
Sun Owl, good to see you. I hear you are cold out there, but not as cold as us. Yeah, I made a video earlier. We were minus 26
Wow,
Celsius from about minus 15 Fahrenheit.
it's
So,
cold. It's cold.
yeah, it's cold for sure. So, can you also tell us a bit about Operation Pocketbook in case there's anyone in
Ooh.
here who doesn't know about that?
So Operation Pocketbook was a day that Prepper Now and I decided on a live stream. We picked October 31st. Actually, he picked the day, I picked the name, and we dubbed it Operation Pocketbook. And we decided to try and stick it to the folks who are not so friendly on the free speech. Um, and what we decided we would do is basically boycott social media for one day and see if it would affect them at all with their revenue. Well, lo and behold, some hacker that morning decided to get into Instagram and log out about 7 million people the morning of Operation Pocketbook, which, hey, we'll take credit for it. You logged out. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So it was a bigger statement than we had actually planned on. But it did work out for
They
us.
were on the fence. I made the choice.
um, but yeah, it was really cool to see that happen simultaneously. Whether it was a glitch, no matter what it was, 7 million people logged out of the Instagram on Operation Pocketbook. So I'll take it as a win.
We're claiming credit.
Yeah, I'll
We
take
did
it
it.
as a win.
It was a good. The idea
That
being
is
that
awesome.
just to see what happened, but not only against or the corporations and social media platforms, but to see about the person themselves. Like,
Yeah.
can you do it? Can you not just pick up the phone? Can you put it down for a whole day? And then, like, maybe once you did, could you do it for 2, 3? Like, could you put it down forever? Like, I suppose
Yeah.
the people that did that, we still haven't heard back from.
exactly.
So-
Exactly. They're gone. They're gone.
That's hilarious. Was it were you missing it at all that day?
Um,
Honestly?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I can't tell you how many times I almost hit the Facebook button or almost went on YouTube because I'm so used to doing it. You kind of program yourself that in your downtime, you just pick that thing up and you hit the button and you scroll through and you scroll through. And then what do you call it, Livingston, man?
Doom scroll.
Doom scrolling, where
Yeah.
you're just like, okay,
There's bound to be something here just around the next scroll.
yeah, and you're just going through it, and as we're scrolling, those folks are hitting you with ads.
Yeah.
Every time you scroll past one, they get paid, and if you're not there to scroll past it, well, they're not making that money that day. So that was the whole theory behind the Operation Pocketbook, and I did find myself missing it. And I know some others had reached out to me and said that they had missed it so much that they realized that it was now a problem, and it was something that they were going to start regulating themselves from in the future, which I think is a really good thing because you really get plugged in and you kind of put the blinders on and you just go, and that's never good.
Oh, that's cool. And I like people's honesty when it comes to that too. People being willing to say, okay, I'm using
Yeah,
it
it's
too
not
much
easy.
kind of thing.
It's
Yeah.
not easy.
It was a hard day too. I mean, it happened to be Halloween.
Yeah.
So I mean, the people were being asked to, like ignore their nieces and nephews on Facebook with their
Oh
Halloween
yeah,
costumes and
absolutely.
everything. I mean, and people, did it, and whether it really made a difference or not, again,
Remains
versus
to
these
be seen.
corporations,
Absolutely.
but I think people learned a little bit about it. Like, so even if we weren't able to stick it to the man, we stuck it to ourselves a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your audio's still a little bit fading on the
Oh
Livingston man
man.
side, but
No, my
that's
voice
okay.
just
I gotta
sounds
go.
like that.
Here we're gonna give you that over
Just
there.
gonna put it right in front of me. What do I sound like now? How about it?
You sound awesome.
Okay,
So
cool.
I noticed Gary is here, who's also in this neck of the woods of northern British Columbia. So good to see you, Gary. It has been a while. And Alexandra the Great, another Canadian, is here who has a channel.
Sister.
She's here, so awesome
Are we out of line
and
with here?
perfect. So speaking of Canada, you guys are in the Northeast United States. Can
Yes,
you
ma'am.
tell? I know there's a big group of preppers in that area, which I know you organize all sorts of stuff for those folks, and I'd love to hear more about that later. But can you tell anyone that's not from there what's the region like? What's the climate like?
I'm gonna give it to my amateur geologist here. Let her rip, Livingston man. How about it?
So we're from the legendary Hudson Valley, the big valley of the Hudson River. It was cut by what I believe is a glacial outwash flood. All the way back, a couple 20,000 years ago or so. It cut its way all the way through Long Island to the Atlantic Ocean, left a canyon in its wake. Um, and this giant channel that it cut in between the Catskills and the Berkshires is the region we live in. It's very trendy these days. But it's a really great place. You get like a sort of a Catskill vibe with the rippling Hudson River. You get the killer sunsets. We have a lot of
Absolutely.
historical sites. It's quaint
Most beautiful
farmland.
place in the world, as far as I'm concerned.
Sure, and with that being said, the Hudson Valley extends all the way through New York City. But we're from the upper part of it, well, the middle part of it, really.
Yep.
It starts way up in the mountains, but we get the whole thing. Like, it is the quintessential New York if you take city out of that.
Yep. Yep. It's a little bit of everything. Some mountains. Some.
We get all
plains,
four
some-
seasons here. We get every weather except volcanoes here.
Yeah.
So
Thank goodness.
we
Thank
get it
goodness.
all. I mean, we
Thank
get
goodness.
even had an earthquake, but
Yeah.
so yeah, it's a challenging place. It can be 115 degrees in the summer. It can be negative 20 in the winter.
Yeah.
It can be 4 feet of snow. It can be frozen solid. You can get flooded by hurricanes. We get it all here. Ice storms.
Yep.
So
It's true.
if you're prepared to live here, besides being in a desert,
Yeah, you
I
can
think
almost
you'd
make
be
it
all
anywhere.
right.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got to have. That's the biggest challenge living here is having enough gear to cover all of those extremes. I know you guys get really, really cold, probably not so hot, but we get the 100 degrees. We got to kind of deal with it all here. I've got the little tiny bathing suits and the 7-layer poofy
Yes.
suit, and you've got to try and store all that stuff. So that's another challenge to living here, is storing all the gear that you need to see your way through all these different seasons.
Eventually, by mid-July, it's like you have no clothes on, and you're like, it's still too hot.
Yeah, that's the worst. That's the worst. So that's when you worry about things like climate control and stuff like that.
So something like his Jackery comes in handy because we also face power outages and the same sort of weather event, natural disaster type of things that anybody else would.
Yep.
But with a much broader need scale.
Yeah,
I
would say so.
No.
It's a great place to live.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And Gary is saying you must have good growing soil.
Absolutely. absolutely. We live. We're basically the bread basket of New York State
The
here.
apple basket.
Well, yeah, the apple farms are absolutely everywhere. And we've got orchards and ranches and farms galore. The Hudson Valley is ripe with farms. I absolutely love it. The tiny suits, yes,
You
gotta have
got
them, man. Gotta have them, Vision.
if
Gotta
you
have
haven't seen it,
them. Lucky you. Lucky
sight behold.
you.
Well, I guess it wouldn't take up much space for your suitcases and your boxes for the summer attire then.
Sure, I
That's
mean, you
right.
can fit them right in your pocket. I mean, you just can have like, I can carry like 4 extras, like right now. You know what I mean? Nice EDC stuff right there.
Yeah.
So, how did you guys get into preparedness? Has this always been a way of life for you?
No, no. I got big into the Patriot movement years back, and my good buddy Old Mutt, at one point, he had asked me, "What are you going to eat?" You know, when everybody's taken to the streets and it's chaos everywhere. Where are you going to get your groceries from? And it was an eye opener for me. And at that moment, I started really putting food away, and making sure that I had those long-term stable goods. I got into the canned goods, I get into the dried goods, and I really started to pay attention and learning from other people about how to put this stuff away properly. Because the last thing you want to do is try and store food and then make your family sick. So it was a big thing for me to learn how to do it the right way so I didn't screw it up. And that's what really got me into it was the old mutt. The old mutt said, you gotta have something. The stores aren't going to be there forever.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was watching some of your videos and you're talking about a trigger event. Can you share
Okay.
what's a trigger event?
So they might be different for everybody, but in my mind, a trigger event is something that is going to change your way of life moving forward, or make you alter whatever plans it was that you had that particular day or that particular time to say, okay, I have to go do this, or I have to go pay attention now. For instance, one of my trigger events, and it's a conversation I had with my family recently, was that if a nuclear device is detonated anywhere in the world, it's time to come home. So if you
Yeah.
hear of that event happening, that would be a trigger event, and that would trigger the response to come home.
Yeah.
Because at that point, if even if it's a test, I mean, accidents happen, and with the tensions as high as they are, I think it's in everybody's best interest just to get close with your family and plan from there.
On that note, we have the same plan, and I'm wondering if anyone in the chat wants to share. Do you have that plan too? Like, hit one if you have that go home if there's a nuclear device anywhere in the world. Is that part of your plan? I'd just be interested if other people have had that conversation. I'm sure a lot of the preparedness folks have had it. And how about a dirty bomb? Is that part of it, or is that like
I
a
would,
gray area?
I would have to say yes.
Yeah.
If it's a nuclear detonation, it's time to come home. And if I can't, like my son's in school, he's not going to be able to just walk out the door and hop on the bus and come home. So at that point, it would trigger one of us to go pick him up, whoever was closest. And surprise doctor's appointment that we forgot about. David's got to go. Sorry, and away the kid goes. But it's yeah.
I think like in the broadest sense, a trigger event would be like there's no turning back. Like that
Mhm.
path to the past is broke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That bridge is burnt. Like, so what would it take? And again, just like prepping and whatever else, it depends on. There's a lot of circumstance.
Oh yeah, and it's very personal.
Right. So I mean, a trigger event could be like your house is on fire. A trigger event could be your child goes missing. A trigger event could be well,
Yeah,
really
many
anything.
things. Many things.
Mhm.
But I to just point at the old Boy Scout motto is be prepared.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, it's a neat conversation that people can be having of what sorts of things that are possible at this time and what are we all going to do if those things
Absolutely.
happen.
And
Because I
it
mean, no
helps
one.
it
Oh,
helps
sorry. Go
folks
ahead.
brainstorm
Yeah.
things as well. You know, when you start to think about these things, you start to go down the mental rabbit hole of, oh, the order of operations of how things are going to play out from there going forward. Well, at least for me, it does anyway. And I always try to war game these scenarios and make sure that I'm crossing the T's and dotting the I's. And what have I forgotten about? You know, I'll even run it past somebody else and say, hey, what am I forgetting here?
Hmm.
Because again, you get the blinders on and you're going to miss something. So it's always good to have somebody that you know and trust kind of look over your plans and say, hey, that doesn't sound too bad. Or, hey, maybe you forgot about this. So it's always good to run those things by people.
And that's why it's great to watch lots of different channels. I mean, I sometimes watch channels I don't necessarily agree with everything that
Yep,
they say, or they may be a little bit more worried than I am, but it triggers ideas and
absolutely.
yeah, those thoughts. So in these interesting times, is there a global concern that is top of mind for you guys? Like
Um, what do you think,
European
Brother
stuff
Phil?
or climate or
Well,
anything?
yeah, clearly, at least for me, the specter of climate change, especially in its destructive parts of it, has got to be like the main concern because like it's a thing, it's a sure killer. It's not a big thunderclap that happens overnight, but we're we're told that like there are forces already unleashed that we can't stop. Um, and our solution would seem to be like, well, then just keep making it worse, and it's got to be the worst thing that will kill the planet. It will kill us. It will kill everything. We can turn this planet into Mars. It's a sure bet. And so whatever we can do to like halt it, slow it down, start acting right toward the planet, acting more like nature. I think that humans don't act a lot like we're from nature. I think we act above it, and it'll be our end.
I agree with you, Livingston, man. Mother Nature is one bad chick. She is one bad chick, and when she's had enough, you're gonna know it. You're gonna
Yeah.
know it.
It looks like Lenora is here. Trigger events are definitely something I need to prepare for. Good to see
Absolutely.
you in the chat. Appreciate you stopping by. Yeah, any other ones? How about you, Mike?
For me, it's the constant nuclear saber rattling right
Mhm.
now. I'm a firm believer of if one launches, everybody's going to launch. I don't think there's such a thing as a limited nuclear strike. Once
Mhm.
those things are airborne, everybody's going to want to send them. So that's honestly my biggest concern, and I'm very interested to see now that the elections have come to a close, if
Mhm.
this rhetoric will continue at the pace that it had previously. So
Mhm.
that's something I'm looking forward to finding out in the coming days and weeks.
Uncle Al says aliens. If aliens were ever gonna be brought to brought up, now would probably be the time. I don't mean
Yep.
right now. I mean
I think
generally
I think
now.
we'd be wildly unimpressed. Like they're like, "Are you afraid?" It's like, dude, I got a lot going on right now. Like,
Yeah.
There's a whole lot going on.
not really into it. You know what?
I think most people's reaction if the alien stuff started coming out mainstream, we just look at our devices like, oh, really? Okay.
Yep. That's it.
Next.
Take
That's
pictures
it.
of the alien.
What are they hiding from us now?
Yeah, exactly. So, and that reminds me of anyone who wasn't here at the beginning and maybe didn't know that MY Prepper has a live stream right after this. I just got the notification, and
Awesome.
boy, does he ever have some neat current stuff to be talking about and
Absolutely.
showing. So I won't
Absolutely.
try to summarize it. We'll just go right on over there and
I'll
he'll
be I'll be there
explain
doing the
it.
doing the moderator thing, doing the
Yeah,
moderator thing.
awesome. Um, So we have a question here. How long do the filters last on gas masks? How many would you need?
Ooh, do you have any ideas, Livingston man?
Typically sealed in plastic, they'd have like a shelf life of, like, to be conservative, like 6 months. In use, depending on what you're up against, I'm gonna go with, like, not an expert, but 72 hours, and you're gonna want to change them out. Um, Again, depends on what you think you're up against and how long you're gonna wear the thing. You can say the more the merrier, but I mean, what are you gonna do? Like, have like 1,000 gas mask filters? Like, I hope you just moved to fresh air by then.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I don't. That's not one of my strong points, and I don't know enough to even speak on it.
Yeah, well, hopefully some people in chat will jump in on that as well. So, I do know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask, are you seeing anything unusual militarily in your area? Because I actually saw a video already with the answer, but are you?
So here, actually, in the last couple days, I've seen heavy military helicopter traffic up and down our high tension power lines. They're flying day and night. I thought the night flights were interesting. When I saw them flying during the day, I was like, oh, they're just kind of, checking out the progress on the power lines. I didn't realize they were Black Hawk helicopters and doing the same thing at night until much later in the evening. So that's got me a little, weirded out. But we, the AC 130s, there was a while back, we had a
They
lot of
train
AC
those every year around
130s.
here. You get this one, it flies down the Hudson River. It takes a hard left at Olana, flies directly over like my house, and then goes back. And it's scary because this thing comes in out of nowhere, about 100 feet off the ground, hugging the trees.
Yeah, they're huge.
It's
Huge.
wild. But I mean, those are clearly training flights. And the rest of the stuff, I mean, we are kind of on a an energy highway. They sort of built right to New York City.
Absolutely.
So in theory, all these guys are doing is just following the power lines to where they want to go, from, like, say, Fort Drum and places north. Nothing scary. I mean, we got no Humvees and armed soldiers in the streets or nothing. And
Nope. Not since Mr. 19 came about. That was the last time I saw any really unusual military activity when they were popping up those field hospitals. And if I saw anything like that, trust me, I would tell everybody, everywhere I could. And I think that's one of the greatest parts of this great network here on YouTube is that if we see something like that, we say something about it, and folks help spread the message to others. So just keep plugged in, guys. Keep plugged in.
Jean is here. Good to see you, my friend Jean. And Jean is mentioning it sounds like the sound is going in and out again. So I don't know. It might be because it's in between you
well,
guys.
someone suggested that they weren't completely agreeable with my presence here tonight.
Your presence is required tonight. So
I was a little loud on our previous live stream, so they're listening.
They might be throttling them down. Maybe the red background was too much for him.
I think I'm a communist. That's it.
So I know you guys, you do group stuff, you do group outings and meetups and courses and all that kind of stuff. How do you suggest that people can find a mag if they're not in an area like where you are?
Start one.
Yeah, start one. I mean, if you don't have one, if you're not finding what you're looking for, create it and bring some people into the fold. The old "if you build it, they will come" thing. It's true. And don't get discouraged, guys, because it starts small. If you get 2 or 3 people to show up and say hello and introduce themselves, that was 2 or 3 preppers that came out of their shell to come and say hello to you. And as we know, those folks, they typically don't do that. So that was a big step for them, and don't take it lightly. When I initially started, I had events where nobody would show up. It was just me and a couple of my friends, and that was it. And we made the best of it, and we did what we could, and we learned. And then we would have other ones, and we'd get a couple more friends that would show up, and then a couple of new people would show up, and then a couple more new people would show up. The Hudson Valley prepping and survival thing has really helped the in-person events grow. We get like 70 plus people at the events now. And it's great to see so many people out there practicing with their gear. That's really what I gear these things towards, because so many people buy the stuff and they're like, "Oh, I don't know when I'm going to have time to test it out." And you go outside and you're not sure how to set it up. You've never done it before and you struggle through it. And we've all done it. We've all struggled through it, and we're here to help you now. You don't have to come out and struggle by yourself. We're all here to help you struggle right along with you. Um, and there's a good
So
chance that somebody there has done it before, and they can show you an easier way or a better way, or maybe you find a different piece of equipment that somebody else is using. You're like, ah, that's really what I was looking for. So it's awesome, man. I love seeing the people come out and putting their stuff to use and testing themselves.
I mean, what you can do is ask vague questions of people, like to get to know, like if someone like what you called it, plant a seed.
Yeah.
Come out and be like, "Hey, man, are you into prepping and survival?" Where you,
Yeah. You got to ease into those
right, you
conversations.
ease your way in and figure out. There are places to like find folks like this. I suppose one would be like any community group. You're part of a church, a gym, a YMCA. I don't know. I'm not a very social person. I don't know. Whatever it is, these people that go in public do. Like, there are more of you. You just got to find them and
Yeah.
just talk and like share ideas. It's a big network is what it boils down to. It's just getting to know folks.
Yeah, I would say the first thing that you could do, the easiest thing is on like Facebook, go into the group section and type in your city, your town, your county name, and then put preparedness or prepping or whatever after it and see what pops up. You might be surprised. You might be surprised. It may be a private group. You might have to ask to join it. But you might find some people that you know. You might find some people that live right down the road. You never know. You never know.
I see Jean sent a super sticker. Thank you very much, Jean. That was very uh, generous of you and
Thank you, Gene.
thoughtful, and it's very appreciated. Do you think there's a such thing as an online prepping community, like a YouTube prepping community?
Yeah, they're all right here.
Yeah, yeah. We're all here.
Well, you
We're all
see
here.
everybody following each other to each other's channels, watching each other's live streams, commenting, getting to know people. Like,
Yeah,
this is it. This is how you do it.
absolutely. And then take it offline. That's the biggest thing.
And
You have
come
to
to like
meet
the
these
events.
people
Yeah.
in real life. My mother's Spark drove 1,000 miles to come to the event. Um, Humbling, absolutely. Amazing, absolutely. And really great people. I'm blessed to have met them, and I made new friends. At every event, I seem to make new friends and expand the circle even further.
She gave me bacon.
She gave you bacon?
Oh, yeah. She was like, "You want some bacon?" I was like, "I want some bacon." I was presented. It was great. But this is what
Uh,
we do. I mean, like Mike said, your buddy old Mutt talked even about our channel on YouTube. He's like, I remember when he had 40 followers or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, now we're like, by the grace of whoever, we got like 5,000. I mean,
Yep.
once the snowball gets rolling, I mean, the movement, the philosophy, however you choose to describe it, makes sense to a lot of people. How could it not survive? I mean, how hard is that, right? So it resonates with people when presented in the right way, and it's good for everybody. And there's nothing but love too.
Yeah.
Nothing but love in the whole community. Everybody looks out. It's ingrained in all of us. I think real ones have that in them.
so Fuzz Fork is saying some people want to say they are preppers to be in the cool gang, but they don't have a survival instinct. Well, first of all, I think everyone has a survival instinct,
You made it this far.
and I also don't think preppers are cool. In fact, I don't tell anybody that I'm a prepper. It's like,
Yep.
anyway, different perspective, I guess. That's awesome.
I can understand. I mean, well, in any community, you're going to have these people like just
Well, the clicky aspects of it, absolutely. And some,
Sure.
I'm not.
Even those people will learn if they're like exposed to it. Like they're going to
Oh, yeah.
inadvertently learn and become part of it anyway.
I know that I'm not everybody's cup of tea. Um, and we're a little rough around the edges.
Well,
You
we've
know?
been told it's not you, it's me.
But we absolutely tell it like it is. We say what's on our mind. Um, and there's no, nothing that's going to stop me from doing that. They can delete me and I'll be back. Maybe on a different IP address and everything else. I'll be back. And I like that everybody is themselves. And if I don't have the answers for you or I am not your cup of tea, there is a whole slew of people in the chat who may be your cup of tea, who may be exactly the person that you need to hear it from for it to click for you to get it. And if I wasn't the right seat for you and you just passed through to find Van City Prepper because she's what clicks for you, you did the right thing. And I don't mind being a vessel to other channels where people are going to do better. It doesn't hurt my feelings if I'm not your cup of tea.
Oh yeah, I mean, nobody is everybody's cup of tea,
Exactly.
and there's room for everybody. And I love listening to just so many different things because you get the people talking about dealing with waste after an emergency, and they make videos about that, and gets people thinking because if they've got a dog living with them underground for 2 weeks,
Yeah.
what's the dog gonna drink? Where's the dog gonna go? And all those thoughts that are a little
It's
bit
going in my stomach after like day 3.
yeah.
We're not cleaning up after you anymore. Sorry, kiddo.
Yeah,
Jokes. Love my pets. I love my
it's
pets.
so funny. Well, they're
Gene A,
good
we
for
are
morale.
in the Hudson Valley, New York. Absolutely.
I like to say that every person knows how to do something that someone else doesn't know how to do. And all it
Yes.
takes is for them to meet up and
Yep.
start sharing ideas. And this is what you'll find at gatherings like what Mike puts on. Like everybody knows how to do something, everybody. And you can show other people how to do it. And they can show you
Yep.
how to do what they do. And this is what the great tree of prepping and survival becomes.
Absolutely.
Eventually. That was very dramatic. I'm sorry.
I love it.
Yeah, I have so much fun at the events. Sometimes I get there and I find myself talking so much that I'm like, oh man, I went all day. I didn't even take a photo of anything. I don't have any video of any of this. I've just been so busy talking with people and visiting with people. It's a blast, man. It's an absolute blast.
And can you give an example? What do you guys do? You do a camp out sort of thing? And
Yeah, well, we do bug out weekends. So you basically come and live out of your bug out bag. If your plan is to bug out and stay in your car, that's your plan. Come put it to action. Bring your car
yeah,
out, set up in your car. If your plan is to use your hammock, bring out your hammock, come set it up, make sure everything works, make sure you got it set up right, make sure you can do it blindfolded. I use the same setup multiple times and it gets to the point where I just say, oh, those are the trees and click, 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 and I'm in there. But for other folks, it's not that easy. It's the first time that they've set it up. Or they want to try a different configuration. They want to try something different. Maybe they're hammock campers and they bought a tent that they want to try out. Come on out and try it out. We're not going to let you fail. We're not going to let you fail. Somebody's going to be there to help you out. So we can improvise something. Chances are somebody might have an extra piece of gear to be able to toss you. With that many people there, there's a lot of helping hands, and it's really great to see everybody work together to accomplish goals. If somebody says, "Hey, we need firewood," all of a sudden there's 30 people gathering firewood, and it's done in 15 minutes. And we've got more wood than we could ever use. It's really awesome to see that.
It's a great. The last thing you want to do is be in an emergency and like unwrapping some brand new stuff you bought 3 months ago on Amazon. You ain't took out the box yet.
And trying to
And
read those instructions.
read the instructions and figure out how it works. What the weekend events that Mike puts on lets you do is bring that stuff out, use it, even if it's just that once you've seen it, you've done it, you know what to do with the thing, you know whether it's any good, whether
Yeah.
you want to buy another one or not recommend that to anybody. I mean,
Absolutely.
it's a great a controlled test environment, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
You can't fail, but here you can try
Learn.
out your stuff.
You
Right.
can learn. Absolutely.
Oh, that's super cool. So, in terms of things like dehydrating, canning, gardening, do you guys have favorites of any of that stuff? Those sort of,
I love gardening. I love
yeah.
gardening. I love putting plants in the dirt and watching them become vegetables. It's just so awesome. The Chinesium prepper gear. So the one that gets me is the folks who show up with their brand new North American Rescue tourniquet still in the
Oh,
plastic
yeah.
wrapper in your kit. And I'm like, oh, he's like, well, I don't want to get it dirty. I'm like,
Oh.
you kind of want to open that up. You want to stage it. You want to have it set to its biggest settings so that it's easy to put on, quick to deploy.
Do's and don'ts of medical gear is like a whole nother
Oh
like
yeah,
show here.
big
Like we've
time,
Mhm.
big time, big time.
medical gear is very easy to like go ahead and like spend money on and buy it. But listen, if you don't know how to use it, it's useless to you, and you could, in worst case, like hurt someone worse. Um,
Mhm.
if you're gonna go on medical gear, if we're there, know what you're doing, or leave it to someone that does.
Yep, get training, get training, and we're blessed to have Travis from strategic.etc.com
That's him.
who comes to a lot of our events, and he's the guy who will just walk up to you and say, he throws a tourniquet at you and he says, you just got shot in your left arm.
Mhm.
And he throws the tourniquet at you and he says, go. And he just wants to see how fast you can actually deploy that thing and get it put on, and to make sure you don't know how to do it. And if you don't, he's going to talk to you about it and tell you how to do it differently. Um, Great guy. I'm so blessed to have him out at the events. He is fantastic. I have taken many of his medical courses and look forward to many more. Um, I think the EMR course is actually his next one that he's offering.
What's that?
Mhm.
Emergency medical responder course.
Thank
So it covers a whole lot more. I think it's the step before EMT, I believe. Um, Great course to take. And if I can get a week off of work, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it because it's intense.
Shameless
So,
plug. I don't know what your viewer base's location is. Travis operates in like upstate New York. He
yeah,
goes
but
to Vermont, New Hampshire. Like he'll
he
go wherever.
covers the whole northeast
Does he go to
quadrant.
Canada?
Um, he probably would. He probably would.
Listen, Canadians, there is hope.
Yeah.
Strategic ETC, all one word, no caps, no spaces.
Yep.
Strategic ETC.
Yep. Great guy.
Yep. Teach you, come to you. He's a great guy. Can even bring your workplace into compliance, get you your CPR, your AED, all that done. This episode brought to you by Strategic ETC.
That's awesome. We did have a panel on this channel because I'm a medic or was a licensed medic, and about medics in preparedness. And most of the people are from the States. There's a few from Canada, but I see Texas Surplus Pro, the EMR class about 40 hours.
Yeah.
The EMR class in Canada is about 3 weeks, and you things like oxygen, which is a medication, obviously, and Entonox and nitroglycerin, like that sort of level of administration. And then EMT is only in certain provinces, but there's quite a difference. But the basic stuff and standard and emergency level and backcountry level would probably is usually the same between countries. So
Yeah. We did
For backcountry stuff, you guys did a
the
wilderness.
Yeah, the wilderness first aid
nice.
course. Yeah, that was a really good one. Lots of learning, man. Lots of learning. I learn through osmosis the best. When I touch it and do it. That's how I take it in. I'm not very much a book learner. I can get the gist of things via a book, but until I put it into practice, I don't feel that I've really learned it.
Mhm. Well, that's neat that you love gardening so much, and I know that Livingston Man loves geology interpretation.
I thought you were going to say spam.
Yeah,
That's
I've
true.
seen that. I saw that video, that spam video.
It was a lot of fun. was a lot of fun to
It's
make.
awesome.
In the prepper community, there seemed to be a great divide between corned beef and spam, and I just felt that, like, I knew.
Just let everybody know what side you sit on. I
So,
understand.
I mean, given the choice, I mean, it's clear, really. I mean, maybe I'm biased.
Somewhere out there, angry preppers starting to, you know.
It's funny because people think that we have like this beef, but we don't.
Oh, I
We
see
have a
what you did
spam.
there.
We have
Get
a
it?
spam.
Full of jokes tonight. This kid is on fire.
Oh man.
That is hilarious. Just a couple more questions. We are going to wrap up here in a second, but are you happy with your Jackery solar generator?
So far, yeah. So far, yeah. I think the thing's absolutely awesome. Um, can't beat it, man. Can't beat it. To have that much power.
Break it right down. What's the heaviest thing you ever plugged into it, and for how long?
The heated blanket. The heated blanket all night long. The heated blanket worked all night long and only took about 30% of the 1,000 watts. So I used about 300 watts, and that was all night long at an event. I just laid a heated throw on my little sleeping mat, and I was toasty all night long. All night long. Plus, I charged my phone, and it only used 30% of that 1,000 watts. And it takes about 4 hours to recharge that in the fall here,
With just the solar panels.
with just the 2 solar panels. So I can recover that. And if I had got on it first thing in the morning, I probably would have done a little bit better and maybe a little bit faster. But starting halfway through the day, I think that kind of slowed the process a little bit.
Now, old Mutt like does stuff like plugs like dishwashers and
Oh
like
yeah,
jackhammers and stuff into
a
it.
microwave. I've seen him boil water in a microwave on a Jackery 1500. Incredible. The things are extremely capable. I'm really looking forward to plugging the pellet stove into it to see how long we can run one of those things.
It's not a thing you now. The word generator can be a bit of a misnomer.
It's a battery.
It's a battery.
It's a battery.
It will
Yeah.
not replace, like a 10,000 watt generator outside your house that's pulling your heavy hitters like your water pump or your furnace or something like that.
Yeah.
But when you need the microwave or you need the Xbox, or I don't know, whatever. You got this thing that can do it for you. Like
Yeah.
that's more like what the Jackery is good enough for. It can't totally replace a whole house generator, but it can be a whole room generator.
Yeah, not yet, but they're working on it.
Cool.
They're
Definitely
also,
cool.
to be honest, money, bro.
Yeah, you're basically looking at $1 a watt to pick up one of those things, and then you're going to have to add the solar panels to it as well. So factor that in, guys. I mean, they get pretty pricey. So about $1 a watt, and I think that about holds true for the solar panels as well. If you're getting a 100-watt panel, it's no, maybe it's about $2 a watt as far as the panels are concerned, but the battery banks are about $1 a watt.
I would say a 2,000 watt battery bank and the 4 solar panels, like their flagship kit, I think is like $2,500.
Yeah, they're pretty pricey,
Mm-hmm.
but worth it.
Yeah, that's good to know.
Worth it, though. Yes.
Texas Surplus Pro, who I trust his judgment very much, also says totally worth it.
I mean, he's from Texas and he's a pro.
Yeah.
Plus, he's got surplus.
Yeah.
Got my vote.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, kill it. Did you just
That's funny.
I see what
What
you
did
did there.
you say?
Oh.
I said it's expensive, kill it. I said it's expensive.
Oh, that's awesome. So, okay, we are gonna wrap up. I do appreciate your time, and
problem.
definitely everybody who hasn't seen the live stream that just happened, check out the one over on Hudson Valley Prepping Survival.
Y'all
they're
gonna
talking
die
about the
Wednesday.
election. Yeah, it's awesome. It's hilarious and fun. And thanks to all the folks in chat. It's really good to see you all, and the moderators who've taken the time to be here as well. Can you let us know where people can find you?
So obviously here on the YouTube, Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival on YouTube. You can also find the Livingston Man channel on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook, Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival. We have a group there, a community. A lot of great people. There's over 800 people in the Facebook community group, and it grows a little bit more every day. You might find some of the people in the chat on the group there as well too. A lot of great people in there, a lot of great information, a lot of folks trying to help out, ask questions. Um, that's a great place. We also have an Instagram,
He's on every social media.
Instagram, TikTok. We're all over the place.
I can't only handle like Facebook, and I can barely. Like,
There's a website too, but that's not quite.
if you go to my
Right.
channel, you're gonna find a whole 4 videos. It's not. You don't even have to be there long. Okay.
Cool.
But yeah, we're out there. We're out
Hudson
there.
Valley Prepping and Survival. Like, just look for the logo.
Yep.
And
All right. Well, and also, is there any final comments to the viewers?
Stay ready, guys, and remember that hope is not a plan. Hope is not a plan. Have a plan, and have multiple plans. So that way, when the first one goes to crap, you at least have something to fall back on. So,
find your people.
yep, find your tribe. Absolutely.
You can. The whole like I'm gonna do it alone thing sounds good, but find your people.
Yep.
All right. Cool. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Have a great night.